All right, we're back, guys. Hello. Coming at you guys with another topic. As you guys know, I love to talk about things that are themes in practice. And I want to talk about one of the things that's kind of common because we are moving more into weight loss season. I know everyone has been saying, okay, it's going to be summer soon. I know our weather, if you're living in New York, has been really rainy and super wet and not good. And it doesn't feel like summer is coming. But this weekend, there is going to be some really good weather coming. And with good weather brings change of diet and also change or goals with body composition. So I know a lot of you guys are really interested to learn, well, what else can I do to support weight loss? That's always a theme, no matter what season we're in. It definitely perks up a little bit come summer, but weight loss. How do I shift my body? How do I kind of expedite the process of my goals to look physically different? And there is something I want to talk about a little bit before we dive into some like weight loss strategies, I guess you could call it. But something people don't know about that's really important. This is like super important. Before you can lose weight, you have to remember this one topic or this one concept, that weight loss is a byproduct of good metabolic health. And what I mean by that is that in order for someone to be able to lose weight kind of easily, or kind of like, oh, my body responds really well, I'm making some changes, it has to be in a good place with metabolic health, which basically is going to be organ health. And so for any of you guys that know me, you know I always talk about organ health, aka what is the nature of the organs, what's going on with the liver, what's going on with the spleen, what's going on with the gallbladder, what's going on with your immune system. If those things are not in a good spot, you can't lose weight as effectively. Those are going to be barriers to weight loss outside of just counting calories or eating healthy. For example, some people come in and they're like, Dr. Tracy, I literally am eating so good. I'm having a ton of vegetables. I'm eating lots of lean proteins. I'm having enough protein. My carbohydrates are low. I'm working out. I'm exercising. I don't understand. Like, this isn't making sense. Whenever it doesn't make sense, it usually means something behind the scenes is going wrong or going on with one of the metabolic organs. So for example, a lot of young patients, a lot of young women, there's been like an influx of younger women in their kind of like late 20s, early 30s who are having issues with hormones. For example, I'll just use like the classic kind of, not the most common, but one of the common conditions that can affect weight. For example, high testosterone. So if a woman is saying, I had my recent labs done, my free and total testosterone are high, they're out of the range, or they're leaning high, I've been potentially diagnosed with things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, that is going to cause an issue with your body's ability to lose weight. Until that's rectified, the food part of the nutrition is not going to be as effective. It's going to work, nutrition does work, but it's not as effective. And so if someone's saying, I cannot lose a pound, like no matter what I'm doing, something's not adding up, it's because something's not adding up in the metabolism, with your liver, with your thyroid, with your ovaries. Now, for that example, we'll just use the high testosterone. That is for women that have problems at the level of the ovaries or the level of the liver. I always go back to the organ, right? I always think about what organ is not doing its full job. What organ's slacking off, right? What organ's not working as effectively. And so what happens is that if somebody doesn't have great ovarian production, or they're spewing too much testosterone because a lot of different reasons, that's a barrier to weight loss, even if your nutrition is perfect. So my point in a nutshell is that you can have the best diet under the sun and still have issues with weight loss because you have issues in the tissues. That's a good way to describe it. There's something going on inside one of the metabolic organs. Women know this. For example, I'll use autoimmune conditions as kind of like an example, because women know this, or like, I know this. I have an autoimmune condition, for example, if that's what they're saying. For example, maybe they're like, oh, I have lupus, or I have Sjogren's, or I have Hashimoto's. They might say, I tend to feel like my body composition is just not great. Well, your lymphatic system and your immune system are not great. And so until those pieces of the picture are supported and the nutrition is in a good spot, kind of together, they cross lap each other, it's going to be nearly impossible for someone to say I'm losing weight. Okay, so you might say, I'm dieting, I'm dieting, I'm dieting. A lot of people still are under this like really old, outdated medical model of like, just eat less, right? Like that's the concept of like, if you just eat less, you'll lose weight. That is not true with metabolic dysfunction. Any person that tells you to just eat less when you have a metabolic issue has no idea what they're doing. Truly, truly. And I say that because patients know that. They're like, literally, my doctor has been telling me to eat better and I'm eating so good and I'm gaining weight. Yes, because your doctor has no idea what's going on with metabolism and your health, and that the nutrition is not as effective of a strategy if there's organ dysfunction. Okay, so you gotta fix the problems first, assuming that you don't have problems, right? So let's say my thyroid looks great, my ovaries look good, my period hormones are great, my menstrual cycle is super normal, I don't have a lot of pelvic pain, assuming everything's in a good spot, right? Like maybe I just need to lose a little weight, but things aren't broken. Then you could take advantage of the nutritional manipulation for body composition goals. One of the things that I do find for women that are kind of, how could I describe it? Kind of affecting them when it comes to weight is, one, not enough dietary protein, or two, under eating, truly under eating. I kind of also dealt with this when I was going through my own like body composition shift. I was like, why is nothing happening? I feel like I'm working out so hard. I'm lifting so heavy. I feel like, what the heck? There's like not a lot going on here. And this took me many years to kind of understand. But I was way under eating. I was way, way, way under eating. Like there was no way I was going to change my body with the way I was eating. There was no way. We assume that less is more, right? If I just eat less, then I'll look thinner, I'll look leaner, I'll build some tissue. No. Okay, so one of the things is not enough dietary protein. That's a big one for women and men too. I do find men also do that. I was just talking to a patient last week about like calorie counting versus macro counting and why they're super different. And actually I was inspired. A lot of people reached out and were like, where is your metabolic masterclass? Like, hello, I need you. You're super great at this stuff. And yes, I will be doing that sometime in the future. It's just been really busy in the practice. It's really just the nature of that time of year where April, May, June are like my busiest times of year. But I will put something like that together where you can tune in. But macros are way more important than calories because calories are a unit of energy. Assuming that you can use that energy appropriately, then you'll be in a good spot. But a lot of people cannot use that energy appropriately because of metabolic dysfunction. So I don't love calorie counting because that doesn't take into consideration the organ's effect on the tissue. And what I mean by that is if I have 100 calories of blueberries and 100 calories of chicken, you might say calorie to calorie, they're the same thing. So who cares, right? I'll have either one. No, if you look at the macros of the chicken, let's just pretend 4 ounces of chicken, maybe 15 grams of protein, 0 carbs, 0 fat, right? Lean chicken. Those are the macros. And that protein affects the body way different than if you look at the macros of the blueberry, the carbs and the sugar, right? There's no fat in blueberries. There's no protein in blueberries. They're just sugar. Sugar is going to be digested at the level of the pancreas, right? So you have two different organs that are doing a different job. You have protein digestion, different mechanism, versus carbohydrate digestion. Even though they're calorie to calorie, right? 100 calories, 100 calories. The way that they're processed by the tissue, by the organs is completely different. And that's partly why we don't count calories, because people say, oh, I'm eating low calorie. And then you ask them, well, what are you eating? Well, I did an orange, I did an apple, I did a banana, I did a bowl of oatmeal, I had a sandwich. And I'm looking at them thinking, all you ate was carbs. You did carb, although you're still low calorie. Versus protein, it's gonna affect you in a much better way. You need protein for your immune system. You need protein for your hair, for your skin, for your nails. Protein's important to kind of carry your neurotransmitters, things like dopamine and serotonin all float around on carrier proteins. So it's really important to look at not only like, I don't love calories, but macros. I'm a big macro person. I think that people tend to resonate more with that once they learn. Yes, there's a learning curve for sure. But once you learn them, you're like, wow, this is a lot easier than just like restricting myself and starving myself and then binge eating because I'm so hungry. That's what everybody does. No, I won't have that. Oh no, I'm not going to have that today. No, I'm going to be really good, right? We think that willpower will get us out of this place. No, willpower fails 100% of the time when there's physiologic issues where your body is screaming at you. Your hypothalamus, right, is angry at you with restrictions. So we always look at macros more than we look at calories is the point. We want to make sure you're getting enough dietary protein, number one. Number two, of the calories that you're eating, are they the right type of calorie? Protein, carbs, and fats are the macros. So are they the right type of macros is probably a better way to describe it. That's a big one. And also phytonutrients. A lot of people are really lacking on like vegetables and vitamins. I know we spoke about this a little bit in one of the previous videos about the importance of iodine. More often than not, I think we also mentioned this, but 10 out of 10 women are iodine deficient unless they're supplementing with iodine or they're taking something from the ocean like kelp or dulse or wakame, something oceanic to provide us with iodine. So if we don't have enough iodine, it could render our thyroid not as active. And that's a big deal, right? So like if we think about just that concept of wait, a nutrient from my food is so important for my organ, and I can have a problem with my entire organ if I don't have a nutrient? Yes. So we do want to make sure we're getting enough phytonutrients and enough vitamins like vitamin A and zinc, B1, B2, B5, B6, B7, B9, B12, selenium, CoQ10, all these things, glutathione, right? These are constituents and vitamins that can help us to kind of run our cells. They're helpful to basically make our cells go faster, move a little bit quicker. And I do find that a lot of people are just not eating enough vegetables. And sometimes that's because they have gut issues. If they have things like colitis or Crohn's or digestive issues, they tend to not eat vegetables because they're too difficult to process. People tend to get very distended from things like that. Some of those foods are high raffinose, high FODMAP. So people tend to say, I kind of stay away from raw vegetables. Cooked are a little bit better. If you cook your vegetables, they're much lighter on your gut. But point of the story is that without the certain nutrients, you're going to have a harder time to lose weight. Okay, so if you're lacking on a lot of nutrients that help your organs, right? So iodine for your thyroid, how do you expect your organ that's involved with your weight to work if it doesn't have what it needs? And the analogy that I always give, which is kind of simple, but it's a great analogy. I'm waving to my neighbor. Is that if I want to make a cake, but I don't have eggs, flour, and sugar, I'm not going to get very far, right? You need ingredients to build end product. You need iodine and zinc and vitamins to create healthy organs. So that's another one. And then also digestive issues. If you have any digestive issues, it's going to cause weight concerns. 100% of the time, your gut microbiome and the critters inside the gut are affecting healthy weight levels. That's a big one. Okay, that's a big one as well. So making sure that you have really good gut health is going to make you lose weight a lot easier. If someone says, I've got acid reflux, I'm bloated, I'm burping, my bowel movements are not great, all that stuff is kind of telling me information about how your organs are working. And by default, let's just use acid reflux for an example. If you have reflux, you're likely not processing your nutrients, right? Your nutrients are coming in, but you're not absorbing them. So that's another factor that I don't want to just say, oh, go take a multivitamin to get your goodies. That would be so simple. But that only works assuming that you're absorbing your vitamins. We're only as good as we are with processing everything, right? Just because we put it in our body doesn't necessarily mean that we own it. So just be mindful with that stuff. If there's any gut concerns, if someone's dealing with an active infection in their gut or their colon, that's going to be another factor. If someone's dealing with Helicobacter pylori or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, all these things affect ability to lose weight. Okay, so the gut has been studied. It's really researched where if people have really bad gut health or maybe lean towards having too much of one species and not enough of another in terms of probiotics, they end up having some issues with weight loss. So there's a lot of factors. I think that what ends up really being downplayed is that if you just eat good, everything works out. I would love to say that that's so true. It's a very like downplayed and linear example. I think that that's a little too like reductionist. I think to be fair, I think it's not as simple as that. You are so complicated and you have all these things that are doing jobs and processes and helping you, and if they're not working effectively, then the job can't be performed. So I just want to be mindful that I know it's weight loss season. I know everyone's got some goals to change their tissue. Summer bathing suit shopping is here, shorts, all the things, right? Men and women have goals of how they want to look, how they want to feel in their skin, and you can't really get to those goals if you're not addressing the underlying root cause issues as to why there might be some discrepancies with the weight and why it's not coming off. So just wanted to kind of talk about that stuff. So make sure that you're working with someone that's supporting you to help get to like the root causes, or take a look at, of course, comprehensive lab work, making sure that you're doing really good supplementation and enzymes. All that stuff is super important. Any questions though, guys? Just have a couple more minutes, but I wanted to, of course, say hello and talk about weight. I'm also trying to lose a couple pounds for the season. I'm very lucky because I know a lot of this stuff where I don't have metabolic dysfunction, I don't have thyroid issues, I don't have a lot of these concerns. So it's easier for me. Average weight loss per week has been 1 pound to 1.5 pounds every week. That's a good goal. 1 pound to 1.5 pounds per week maximum. We want pure adipose loss, not just fluff, not just water. So I know people say, oh my goodness, I lost 5 pounds this week. You probably lost a little bit of fat, and then also subcutaneous tissue, intracellular fluid, extracellular fluid, maybe you're sodium depleted. So all that stuff is gonna look, kind of different on the scale. But those are all the things that are important: taking vitamins, minerals, enzymes, moving your body. I was just talking to someone the other day about how important it is to move your body. If you're not exercising, it's not impossible to lose weight, because that's not true at all, but it helps your organs so much to move your body, your lymphatic system to get a really good sweat. Gosh, your immune system loves it. I was doing cardio this morning and I wear this giant puffy sweatshirt that's so cozy, and I was sweating, and at like the 30-minute mark of cardio, I was like, this feels so good. I can't even imagine not working out. I really can't. And know that that's a luxury for some people, because there are people that can't work out, right? Physically, they can't. They're in so much pain. I know that there's some people at the gym that I work out at that are paralyzed. There's a gentleman that's in a wheelchair that trains his upper body, and he has support, but I know it's a luxury. So you have that. Use your body. It's a gift. It's a gift to have a body that you get to use, right? How beautiful is that you can wake up and choose to use your body? So we don't want to punish it and beat it down, and why isn't it working, and it's not doing its job, and it just needs a little tweak. Okay. Also, guys, I just wanted to share, because it's been getting so busy in the practice, I may be closing my calendar for the next month, this month of May. So if you have any outstanding things that you have been wanting to take care of, I know some people have programs that they're saying, I want to do it. Please make sure to do that as soon as possible, because we are at maximum capacity, and that will change. That's just the nature of things, that there's times where we go into max capacity, we close the calendar, we close the ability to come to us as a new patient until we kind of graduate some of our other patients. So if you know that you're outstanding and want to get in and have been wanting to, please make sure to do that sooner than later, just because I think my calendar is going to be closing with taking new patients soon. We were talking about that this morning, me and Stephanie, and we're just full. We're just very full. Any other questions? I see someone saying, so true. Hello. Good morning. Hello. All right, guys, I don't see questions. So if you have one and you're watching this later, of course, we're live now. Leave a question at the bottom, leave a comment, leave some feedback, of course. I would imagine that many people that are dealing with this probably resonate with this and are like, wow, this is really applicable. I feel like my health is not moving the scale. I'm not changing my body. Maybe there's something to explore there. Okay. Of course, that's step one, is doing a full workup of like, where are you now, which is really great. Menopause and weight loss. So menopause and weight loss, that's a really great point to bring up. People that are in andropause or menopause are a different caliber of people. They require different nutrients. They require some hormonal support for sure, because that is true that I know a lot of people give feedback that like the minute they hit menopause, all these problems started to happen. Like, oh, my cholesterol went up, or oh, I started to just put on weight. There is something to be said, but it's not impossible. It's just a little bit more strategic. Okay, so doing things that can support hormones. There's actually natural ways to bring up hormones that women love. Natural things to boost progesterone and estrogen. Of course, moving your body. It's a little bit more structured. I love that question, because that is true that certain people, it's not as simple for them, right? I would actually call menopause and andropause kind of like a special populations of people, right? Like people that have autoimmune conditions, or people that have dysfunction. Not that being in those states are dysfunctional. No, they're normal. It's a biological part of the aging process. But we have to really be a little bit more strategic to support the hormones for women. Working with the adrenal system does wonders for women, because even though we may not have the ovaries production of hormones like progesterone and estrogen and testosterone, the adrenal gland does have a little bit of a backup for us. So it is a really great thing, is get your levels of everything checked, start there. That's always kind of my start place for everybody. Is most people that know me, that have worked with me, when they have originally been introduced to me, we always do the comprehensive lab work first. And not because everybody gets the same care, but because it's always different for everybody when we look at their labs of what are they deficient in. Are they dealing with some type of like co-infection, or is something bothering their immune system? Especially after, C19, people are kind of metabolically different. So I love that question, but I would say start with some comprehensive lab work first to see where you are, and the obvious deficiencies could be addressed, and then working with the adrenal system, a little bit of natural support for the hormones does wonders for women that are in menopause, because it does come with a whole host of issues and joint pain and headaches and brain fog and all the things. So someone's asking, are we taking questions? Yes, of course we're taking questions. I'm here to support you guys as always. I want to help you learn and become educated and start asking the right questions. So yes, we're taking questions. I have another probably 5 minutes. What else is on here? Hello, good morning. Hi, Eric. Yes, we're taking questions. What else, guys? You're welcome. I hope that was a little bit helpful. I know it's not super specific to you. Obviously, it would be specific to you. That's an important factor, is like your care should be very specific to you. But generally speaking, I know that menopause is a very big concern for a lot of women that come in saying, I was fine until menopause came. And you are different, biologically different, chemically different. It's not the same person. You're not the same person when you're in menopause. You're just not the same person. Everything changes. And it doesn't mean that we have to struggle. I just want to make that kind of clear, because I think a lot of people, when they're coming from more of the medical route, one of the things that they say is like super dismissive. Their doctors are like, well, you're older. What do you expect? Well, you can still feel really good being 50s and 60s, and there's a lot of things that you can do to optimize your health. I don't think that being older is warranted to feel like crap, right? Just because we're older doesn't mean this is the body I have to live in for the rest of my life. No, that's not true. I know that that's one of the things I hear often. So just be mindful of that, because I hear lots of crazy things when people tell me. I would love to do a video. I forgot to tell you guys this funny thing, and I actually threw it away. I bought a wig a long time ago, when people were like doing reels, when reels were like so popular. I mean, I know they're popular now, but I bought this wig and I was like, I'm going to do this video where I'm going to put my wig on and pretend to be this doctor that is like the most dismissive person. You guys would not believe the things I hear from people when patients tell me experiences of other doctors. Like the things other doctors tell them, actually leave me a comment down below, because the things that patients say that their doctors have told them are astonishing. Like alarmingly astonishing and like scary. Scary. Somebody is saying, I have all the symptoms of hypothyroidism, but my T3 is on the cusp of abnormal. Everything else is normal. My doc says my lab's normal. She's not concerned. Okay, great. Love that, Sharon. Great question, or great thing to bring up. Test everything. T3 is not the most active version of thyroid hormone. I would say a free and total T3, a free and total T4, a TSH, a TRH, a reverse T3, and both thyroid antibodies would be my workup for sure, without a question. You need to be fully evaluated. And also, there is a condition called subclinical hypothyroidism, where that person is right on the cusp. They're like right there, right? Imagine the range is 0. We'll use 0 to 10. That's not the real scale for T3, but let's say 0 to 10. The person might be like right there at like a 9, for example. They're literally right there. So you are probably going to have to wait until your body is saying, now we've got problems. It sounds like you have subclinical hypothyroid, which basically means the labs are not showing up yet with your thyroid, okay? It will end up, fast forward in time, you probably, I hate to say this, but you may end up developing diagnosable on your lab thyroid concerns in the future because it's not course corrected yet. I would still move forward with support for your thyroid, and I would find a different provider. It sounds like you're not using a functional doctor. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but the labs that you're mentioning are pretty basic. Doc says my labs are normal. She's not concerned. Classic thing I hear. My doctor is not worried. People say that, and then I look at their actual labs, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Your labs are normal. Like, I see a lot of red on this page. Do you think I should supplement with like a thyroid supplement? Before you supplement with your a thyroid supplement, I would do a full workup of everything, right? That would be an easy strategy is, oh, just take something for your thyroid. Maybe you're iodine deficient and that's not allowing you to make enough T3s and T4s, right? Try iodothyronine as T3. We need iodine to make enough T3. Maybe there's some digestive concerns that you have that you're not absorbing the iodine that you're consuming that's causing your thyroid to be low. Maybe there's an infection somewhere. So I don't like to give, I actually can't legally give strategies on Instagram. Obviously, this isn't like a platform of treatment. This is just education. None of this is meant to replace, obviously, all the things that you work with your primary provider on. Legal disclaimers there, right? But the point of the story is that you are likely subclinical. And that means that you probably have all the symptoms. Your digestive system's probably slow. You're probably a little constipated. You're maybe sluggish. Your body weight's not coming off as great as you want. You're cold. Your nose is cold. Your hands are cold. You're losing a little bit of hair. You're feeling like your body's putting on weight. Those are all some of the subclinical signs. And it's true that labs will lag. So before there's a problem, your labs lag, but the body knows. So it's kind of like the lab works a little bit slow to say, hello, I'm getting on board. Traditionally, the body speaks first, then the labs show dysfunction. The labs are a little bit slow to pick up. So I will say that you're probably dealing with that. I would definitely say go functional. I'm not sure where you're based out of, where you live, but find a really great functional provider by you. I do think that can be really supportive for people. Definitely supportive for people rather than just say, well, your doctor says things are normal, go home. And then you're like, this isn't good. I'm putting on 5 pounds per year. I don't feel good. There's no reason to settle for not feeling good. You know, you have to keep trying and exploring and working with things. So I work in GC, maybe that's Glen Cove. These are exactly my symptoms. Holy shit. Yeah, so those are kind of classic. That's just the nature of them. We don't treat lab work. We treat patients. I always encourage people, labs are a tool to help us. They help us kind of gauge where do we think someone is? Where are they headed? But we don't treat lab work because sometimes the labs are really behind. They're a little bit behind. Oh, you're in Garden City. Okay, I thought Glen Cove. But yeah, definitely. So you know where to find me. You can head over to the website or click the link in my bio if you're interested. But point of the story is that the labs can be lagging. Okay, it's really important for patients to know that, oh, well, my doctor said it's fine, but I don't feel good and I'm tired. Well, probably because they're not really exploring A, or B, you're not there yet. Right? Before someone's diabetic, they're pre-diabetic, but the doctors don't tell them that. The doctors just say, you know, Johnny Smith, you are looking good. Go home and see me in 3 months. And then Johnny Smith goes back and says, oh, you're diabetic. The doctor says, Johnny Smith, you're diabetic now. The person gets angry. Well, I wasn't diabetic before. You were pre-diabetic. The mechanisms were happening. It just wasn't there yet. MD doctors wait for red in the blood. Unless the red's there, the abnormalities are there, they're not going to move forward with treatment. Okay, so just be mindful that it's super important to get ahead of it before. It's kind of like, imagine that your car light goes on and your check engine light goes on. I would rather say, okay, my car engine light is on. Let me take it in to be addressed, diagnosed. I'd rather do that than to say, oh my gosh, I'm going to just wait till the car breaks. You're having warning signs. So take that. Your body is trying to communicate something with you. Labs lag. Okay, until they don't, and then all of a sudden the body's like, here we go, I've been diagnosed, right? A diagnosis can only come from a clear, obvious thing. So really great question. All right, guys, I do have to let you go. I hope this was a little bit informative. Drop a comment down below. Also, drop something funny or something horrific or something that your doctor has said that's dismissive. I literally can't believe I'm making a compilation. Like, I'm gonna make a funny book about this because it's not funny by any means, but I just sometimes am like, they said, what? And, the responses are even better when the patient's like, I was just like, okay. I'm like, you said okay? Like, I get it. Sometimes it's like, you don't want to go there. It's like, all right, I won't be back to this office. But anyways, guys, have a great day. Sending you all lots of love and healing, and I will see you soon. Next video.